As someone who creates AI art tutorials for creators, one tool I get asked about all the time is MidJourney. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Jessica with the Real AI Agents. If you're returning, I'm so glad you're back. Today, we're covering a tool I haven't covered on the channel yet. For the most part, I try to gear my videos towards beginners. And MidJourney seemed like one of those tools that really intimidated beginners because back in the day, it was all done inside of Discord. But now that there's a website with easy access and all of the settings are much easier to understand and there's less to have to go into detail about the prompting, I thought it's time to bring you guys a MidJourney video series. Whether you're a hobbyist or a content creator professionally, these tools are amazing to have inside of your toolbox. So before we get started, I like to kick things off with an AI creative project. This week, I left the animation to the pros, and we decided to just take some of our favorite images that we've created in MidJourney over the last couple of days and set them along to a tune that I created in Suno AI that will hopefully get those creative juices flowing and our canvases unbound. After the creative project, we'll jump right in. I'll show you how you can start making images like these.
Drift through the colors, the story unfolds. Shadows and highlights, the secrets they hold. Watercolor whispers, oils that glow. A stroke of the brush and we're lost in the flow. Neon dreams, pastels fade, lines keep shifting, worlds replayed. Cubist motion, skies collide, lost in the art, let the waves decide. Canvas unbound, no rules, no chains. Moving through time where the visions remain. Echoes of painters who captured the skies. Now we keep painting with digital eyes. Abstract visions, colors collide. Graffiti burns in a pop art tide. Golden frames in Renaissance light. Futurist motion, shadows in flight. Neon dreams, pastels fade, lines keep shifting, worlds replayed. Cubist motion, skies collide, lost in the art, let the waves decide. Canvas unbound, no rules, no chains. Moving through time The art lives on where the colors evolve.
Okay, so how cool is that, guys? The variety of what you're able to get out of MidJourney is absolutely mind-blowing. What I personally love about MidJourney is the efficiency as well. So we're going to cover all of those things in today's video. It is a little bit longer because it's a brand new tool and we're diving in, but no worries, I get it. Not everybody wants to sit here for a 45-minute tutorial. And that's why you'll find the chapters in the description of this video so you can jump to what matters most to you. Whether you're a brand new beginner to AI art who's never prompted a single thing, or you're a professional artist looking to incorporate more generative AI art tools into your toolbox, this video has you covered. If you find any part of this video helpful, help your girl out, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like this video and share it with a friend who might think these tools are worth knowing about too. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, we're going to head over to midjourney.com. You'll see on here you can find out information about how to get started, the terms of service, your privacy policy, all of the community guidelines. Everything is right here under documentation. You can hit explore if you're not ready to sign in or sign up yet and you just want to see what people are making on the community page here. You can do that. If you're brand new and you've never been on MidJourney before, you'll want to go ahead and sign up. You can do that with either Discord or Google. I went ahead and logged on since I already have an account though. If you're interested in knowing about the cost that is associated with MidJourney, full transparency, it is a little bit more expensive than your typical generators you might think of. However, in MidJourney, while there is a $30 a month plan, or you can do a 20% discount if you do yearly billing, but under the $30 a month plan, you'll see that you cannot use this right here called stealth image generation. That stealth image generation is what allows you to make private images so that they're not all into the community feed where everyone can see them. So if you're running a business or you're making content professionally, that's definitely something that you want to consider when signing up for your plan. But I'll leave all of that up to you. You know what works best for you, what fits into your budget, and how much time you really need to create whatever it is you're trying to make. Whether you're doing AI creative projects like the one we just saw, or you're just creating some content for your social media feed, or you're making some print-on-demand products, whatever it is, only you know what's right for you and your business. So do your research on any of these AI tools and make sure you understand what your needs are and how you can grow with these tools in the future, and start off at the base level. So once we're in here, what we're going to do is we have a couple of options over here on the side, and we'll just touch on these really quick here. So if you come in to explore, this is helpful if you're brand new to AI art and you haven't even considered what you want to make or what style you might like, any of that kind of stuff. You can get some really good creative ideas from checking out what people have been able to make on the Explore page here. So you've got the hot ones, you've got the top day, change it to the top week, and the top this month. So that's helpful to know if you're generating content, like what are other people making? What are other people creating with these tools that might be catching on as a trend right now? But let's get into the fun stuff now, the actual creation. So back in the day when MidJourney was just on Discord, you used to have to type in the prompts in a very specific way to get the outcome of what you were looking for. There was a lot to the prompting in MidJourney, and oftentimes when I would talk about it, people's eyes would glaze over and they would lose interest very quickly, especially beginners. But with MidJourney's website now, that's all changed. It's so easy to use, even if you've never generated a single piece of AI art. You can make something really spectacular inside of MidJourney. So let's put something in our prompt box up here. Today, let's make some wizards. I'm just gonna put in one word, wizard. Here we've got our settings where they can be adjusted. So the first thing is your image size. When you're creating content, you want to make sure that your ratio matches the output that you need it to be. So for example, if I'm looking for a social media post, I might consider a 1:1 or a 4:5 or a 4:3. I can achieve that by moving the slider here to whatever size I need. So if I want a landscape, I can do 16:9. You'll notice that not every size you might need is on here, and that's okay. I'll show you in just a bit how we can add the size to our prompt and get whatever size you want to come out. But for now, let's just go with a 16:9. The next thing you're going to have here in the middle is the aesthetics of the image. Now this is where things can get really interesting. You have a ton of options for the settings here. The key is really finding a style that you like and making note of the settings that you have on that when you do it, and then adjust from there and see what you get. So you'll see if you scroll over all three of these, the stylization, the weirdness, and the variety, you'll notice first of all that it has a little dash stylize there. That is telling you how you could write those parameters inside of the prompt. If you don't use the little slider here, you do have an option to put it in the prompt. Don't worry, we're going to cover that later. But if you don't want to do that and you don't want to write it in the prompt, this is the exact same thing here. It's just it goes in increments. So you can't choose an odd number that's not already on this little toggle slide bar here. You'll notice that when you scroll over it, it tells you what that does. Stylization here, you can see it influences how strongly the MidJourney aesthetic is applied. So the way I think of that is if I have no stylization on it, whatever I put in as a prompt is going to really closely match the image that comes out. So there's not going to be a lot of added enhancement to the prompt on the back end as far as making the image really beautiful and stand out. The higher I go, the more beautiful it will be, but the less it will match the prompt itself. So, for example, let's generate something here with the wizard prompt on all three of these on 0 first. And then let's come back. That was on standard. Now let's hit raw here. That way we can see 0 for both the standard and the raw. And then let's increase our stylization on that wizard prompt. So first let's decide if we want to leave it in standard or raw here. So we can see here that this is the standard. None of those are really standing out to me. I guess this one's okay, but it's a little wonky on the hand. Versus the raw images up here, which all 4 of those are much better for a wizard. So I think we'll go ahead and leave it on raw as we create these. Now here's the first tip to help you out on efficiency when you're short on time. As you know, in a lot of other systems, you have to generate each prompt individually and generate the image. Now you might be able to do, 2, 4, 8, even 16 images at a time, but they're all going to be done on the same prompt. That is not the case here inside of MidJourney. So, for example, I want to show you guys the difference between the stylization numbers. So what I can do here is I can do a comma after my wizard. And then remember, when I went over the stylization button up here, it told me --stylize would activate that parameter setting inside of MidJourney. So let's do --stylize. Now here's where it gets quick. We're going to do our curly bracket here, and I'm going to put in 100, 250, 500, 750, 1000. And then I'm going to curly bracket close that set of numbers. So you see what's going to happen now is I'm going to create sets of 4 for the image prompt of a wizard, but the stylize is going to run at 100, 250, 500, 750, and 1000 when I hit generate. So once I hit this generate button right here, watch what happens. There we go. So we can see them all starting here. So if we come back and we take a look at them, you can see that, again, with no stylization on, but under the raw setting, these are the 4 wizards that were produced. If we go up to the next set, you can see underneath the prompt, it tells us our aspect ratio, that we have style raw, and our stylize for this set of 4 images was set at 250. So you can see where it's definitely adding to the prompt more than what's here. Here, we literally just got a wizard, a wizard, a wizard, and a wizard hand. Up here, you can see we got a close-up of the wizard. We got the wizard in an action shot here, in a field, playing with fire. And then when we got to 500, the halfway point, you can see it really brought in some more flair and uniqueness to the image. The color has changed. At 750, you can see the wizard is becoming more beautiful and defined. The image is really sharp and clear. And then at 1,000, hyper-realistic, very close. Look at the detail if I just click one of these. It's hard to tell that that's an AI-generated image, in my opinion. You can really tell the difference. So let's say I like the stylize 1,000. I can go ahead and reuse this prompt by hitting the use button here, and you'll see that it then puts in the parameters that I had for that image. So let's throw our text back in there, and let's talk about the weirdness. So you see that this is -- weird when setting the parameters in the prompt, and it introduces quirky qualities to your generated images. So the higher the weirdness, the more unexpected your results are going to be. What do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. So we've got -- weird, and the weird goes all the way up to 3,000. So we've got our stylization set on 1,000. We've got our weird set to generate at 50, 500, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, and 3,000. And you can see it's generating all of those at one time. Another thing I should mention, up here underneath your model, you'll see that there are different settings for the speed. So if you're on the $60 a month plan, there are unlimited relaxed generations, so you can choose relaxed, or you can choose fast or turbo, depending on how quickly you need to get the project done. But keep in mind that does use your hours. So if you come back over to your profile, under your manage subscription, you'll see your remaining fast hours here. This is also where you can turn that stealth mode on if you've got a plan that accommodates for that. We're going to talk about personalization here in just a couple of minutes. But while those are generating, let me show you. You can come in and you can change the version back to some older versions of MidJourney if you're interested in comparison or just seeing what the models used to be capable of doing. And then you've also got the Niji here for if you're interested in doing more of like an anime style creation inside of here. I highly recommend using the Niji 6. If that's your niche that you're into creating in, that's going to be for you. While that set of weird images are still running, let's come over to the side and I'll show you a couple different things here that will really help you if you're just starting out on your MidJourney adventure. Under Organize here, you'll see that you can come in and all of the images you've ever created are inside of here. So you can go down by the month, by the year, and it will keep going down. You've got some options as to how you can see the images here. So if we come and we do full, you can see what the whole image looks like. Square gives you a rough idea of what the image looks like. So we'll go ahead and do full. And then you can change the image size. So if you're that old dog trying to learn new tricks and your eyes just aren't what they used to be, and you need the image size to be a little bit larger, you can hit large here. And that will make them a little bit easier on the old eyes to see. Now, if you need quick access to something, you can come in and you can filter these images. So you can filter by whether or not you've liked an image. You can see hidden images, which we'll talk about those in just a minute. You can see the grids, the upscales. You can see it by square, by landscape, by portrait, by version, published, unpublished. You get the point. That's where you can choose it. So if I choose square here, it's going to pull in every square image. If I choose landscape, it's going to switch over to every landscape image. If I do portrait, I'm going to get all of my portrait size images. One other thing I really like about how you can filter inside of here, if I get rid of these, I can come up to this search up here and I can just put in what I'm looking for. So let's say, for instance, I'm looking for images I've made in the past of the sun. I can put in sun and search, and everything I've ever made that had the prompt of the sun somewhere in that image is all pulled in to one spot for me. So that is super helpful if you're looking for a specific image, or if you're doing like a QT challenge or trying to contribute to a project. You can come in and search any word that you know you've used in a prompt, and it will pull that specific word out of the prompt and those images all into one place here. Now you also have the ability to organize your creations inside of folders here. So you can come over and you can create any folder you want. So for example, let's say I want to create the folder for those sun images. I have a lot of images that have the sun or the moon as a part of the prompt. So let's go ahead and I'll create a folder here and I'll just call this one sun. And now I have a drop down under that sun and moon here that I can use. And if I put sun back in the search bar, I can take any of the images either one at a time and drop them off, or I can come up to the top here and I can hit select all and I can just drag them right on over into the sun folder. Or if there are multiple that I want and they're not all next to each other where I can drag them easily, if I only want to select certain images to pull over, I can hit the shift button and hold that shift button down while selecting the images that I want to add to the folder. So let's say I want to add just these here, these 5. You'll see I can either like them, publish them, hide them, or I can download them all together, or I can add them to a folder, or I can simply hold down on one of those images where I've selected it and drag them right on over into the sun folder. Once I've selected the images that I want to move, I can just hit more here and do add to folder and just choose that sun folder right there. And then you see they've been added. That's great for organization, especially if you're working on a project. You can start a new folder group and call it whatever the project name is and make sure that you put your images inside of there. So it's really easy to just mass download them all together and take them over wherever it is you need to have them to use them, whether that's Luma or straight into Canva or Clipchamp or DaVinci, wherever you're creating the compilation of images together into a video, you have it all in one easy to access folder. You'll notice that underneath Organize here, it's also got a section for chat. This is where the community part of MidJourney really comes into play. MidJourney was built as a community environment. From its early days of Discord, communicating back and forth, helping each other with the prompting, everything was done sort of in a very communal way with MidJourney. Well, they went ahead and brought that over into the app, which I really like. So you can come in and you can just, I hate to say it, guys, and this is really going to age me, but these are like the old chat rooms from the 90s. Shout out AOL. But you can come in and you can choose one and you'll see that people are chatting, they're sharing prompts, they're sharing images, they're talking about how to fix prompts. It's just really general chaos inside of that prompt. There's also a place where you can go to get some help with your prompt. If you're struggling and you want to ask other artists and creators inside of here, how can I fix this? This is where you could come to get some help with that prompting. Then there's also daily themes. So each day you'll see that there is a different theme that is added. So like up here today, it would be fire coral. So I could make some fire coral images and share them in here. And if you're brand new, there is a newbie channel here where you can come in and start talking together about how to improve your prompts, what you can do, how to get it better. how to more efficiently create stuff. There's all sorts of stuff in here that you can learn just by coming in and reading what people are saying to one another. If we head back over to check out our weird wizards now, we can see that here it is starting with weird at 50. So you can see it definitely kept with the prompt of just being the wizard here. But look how much more detail and things that were added to that prompt. Like here, there's a whole secondary character involved. If we go up to 500, you see things do start to get a little bit weird. This one added in like a dragon and some knights behind him, sort of like a maniacal type looking wizard. This one looks more like a hippie grandpa wizard. This one is in a forest climbing up a stairscape here. We go up to 1500, things really start to get weird. This is a very strange one. I don't know that that would fall under the wizard category for me. We've got sort of where it changed into almost a cartoon character here, like a floating apparition, but it almost looks like a female in a dress. So we didn't ask for a sorceress, we asked for a wizard. I assumed that they would all be men, but let's see what we get as we continue on here. You can see at 2000, it definitely changes up the prompt itself. So we've got sort of like a flannel camo lumberjack looking wizard here. He might be incognito as just a guy in the forest. We've got a little cartoon image of a wizard here. More of a whole ethereal dreamscape on this one. And sort of more of a almost like Moses looking type wizard going on down here. If we come up to 2500, we can see that looks very familiar, but slightly different in the face. We've got sort of a very feminine looking wizard almost here with a book, a large kind of game graphic pixelated looking sword and wizard here, and then a deep like blue burgundy type color hue of a wizard seen here in the forest. All the way up to 3000, and it really just kind of goes off the chain here. So we've got another female wizard here with like a broomstick. Not sure what's going on there. We've got a wizard with a book here, and the fingers are all right, so that is a win there. Well, I don't know. He might have 4. He might have 5 fingers up here, so that might not be right. But this hand is right, so that's a win. So you can see where it really takes the prompt and kind of goes off the rails a little bit there. And the next setting we can talk about really quick is this variety here. So you'll see that in the prompt parameter setting, that is -- chaos. I know you would think about the weirdness as being chaos because it kind of like takes it and puts a little bit of uniqueness onto the prompt there, but variety is actually what's going to switch up what you're going to get. So you can see here that it influences how varied the images are. So you get 4 images at a time. If this number is low, all of those images are going to look somewhat similar. So if we look back at what we just created here, you'll notice that in almost all of them, there's one wizard stationary, minus just a couple here. They all have a very similar look in all 4 image sets that are going on in each one. Now, if we take the chaos, and you can see here that chaos goes from 0 to 100. So let's do 50, 75, and 100. And we'll leave our weirdness on 0 while we do this. And we'll leave our stylization on 1000 just for comparison's sake. And we'll go ahead and generate those. Okay, so now that the chaos factor is done, if we take a look here at the chaos 5, you'll notice that all the wizards are very similar in how they are appearing in the shot. They're all straight on. They are all eyes forward, very close up on the face for 3 out of 4 of them. Chaos 25, we start to see an illustration style pulled in. We start to see more of a dark cinematic here. We've got a very photorealistic cinematic shot. We've got more of an ethereal, brighter vibe. We go up to 50, which is halfway. We can see that there are 4 very different images here. It gave us a black and white option. It gave us more of a realistic cinematic shot with some ice and snow. It gave us a dark, ominous, sort of foggy looking wizard. And then it gave us an ethereal in the clouds female character again. And then at Chaos 75 here, you can see we've got 2 different illustrated images of the wizard in the clouds. One towards a portal, one just kind of in a airy, wispy cloud setting. And then we've got a man who you can't really tell is a wizard, but he does have those kind of intense eyes that we've been getting with the wizard, and the hat. And then we've got sort of a dark, more ominous but cinematic shot here. And then at Chaos 100, you can see it really throws in some different stuff here, almost like a Western cowboy army type wizard, I guess. And then a fall autumn wizard, and then two females, one standing on a beach looking towards some ominous craziness going on in the sky, and then sort of a dancer up here, which is very different. But we are set on Chaos 100, so it really did add in a lot of chaos to that prompt. So you see there, as a beginner, what can be done with one simple word prompt. But now let's talk about creating more of a style around your prompt. So you have a couple of options. If you want to create images that look somewhat similar to one another, let's say I want to create a set of neon focused images. I can put the word neon in, and then I can do my close brackets. And just like it works for the parameter settings, it also works for the subjects of the image creation. So if I put neon, castle, wizard, knight, wave, eye, tree, queen, realm, dragon, alchemist, and then I put a comma, dash, dash. This is where, when I talked about earlier how you could only select the ones that are already predetermined on the size aspect ratio here, this is how you can do a size that isn't included in that. So I did dash, dash, AR, which stands for aspect ratio 4:5. And I'm going to go ahead and hit generate there. And you'll notice that it created all of those in the size aspect ratio that I wanted, each one in its own row with the name of the subject that I wanted appearing next to each one. So if we look here, you can see we've got the neon set of castles, we've got the neon wizards, we've got the neon knights, we've got the neon wave, we've got the neon eye. Here we've got the tree, the queen, the realm, the dragon, and the alchemist. So let's say, for instance, that I really like the vibe of this image right here with the neon knight. I've got a couple of options of ways that I can create other images that are similar to this one. I could hit very subtle here, which is going to give me images that are very close to what this knight looks like. And then I can hit very strong, which is going to give it more creative liberty, but keep it along the same lines. So if we let those generate and we come up here, you'll see the first variation of the subtle is almost complete. There we go. So if we look here at the original image, you can see how it's varied very slightly. There's not a whole lot of change, but there is enough change where you could notice that they are different images. And then again, with the variation on more creative under strong here, you can see that her suit changes. Like if you look down here on the subtle, the suit has the same definitions with the glowing lights on each one of the suits. Whereas up here, they all have very different patterns, and you can tell that they are not the same suit or character. Whereas down here, it's much harder to tell. So you can create a lot of different images that are very close to one another by using that variation tool there. But AI art images aren't the only thing that MidJourney does well. So if you're into content creation and you do a lot of logos or a lot of icon graphics that you use on your YouTube videos, or if you do your own artwork for a newsletter or something like that, it actually does all of those things really well. And let's do a product shot. So if I put a product shot of a bottle of pink perfume on a white display shelf, and I change our size here, let's just go ahead and go back to square, and we'll switch this up so we can see a little bit of variety here. We'll go up to 15. I mean, come on guys, look at the quality of that image there. Amazing. Now, I told you earlier about that hide feature on here. Sometimes you get an image that you just don't want to keep on your feed. You don't like it. You don't want to keep looking at it, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's not safe for work. Whatever the cause that you want to hide that image, that can be done on your feed. Now, images can't be deleted from here. That is part of like the whole community setting. They like to keep what's generated. Maybe in the future there will be a way to delete the images, but right now you can see there's no delete underneath of all of these here. But what you can do is hit the hide button. So let's say, for instance, I don't like this image. It's grainy, it's gritty, and I just don't like it. I want to hide it. All you have to do is hit the 3 little buttons here and hit hide image. And if you want to unhide that image so you can see it again, let me show you in the feed though. You can see there that now that image is hidden. If I come back in and I click on the image, I can always turn the hidden off. So if we come over and we take a look at my organized screen here, I can show you what I've found that MidJourney does really, really, really well. That is hyper-realism. So if we take a look at some of the images that I've generated in here, I just put in the word hyper-realistic. And you can see, especially with like the queen and the dragon images here. So for example, if we do hyper-realistic image of a woman holding a book in a library, cinematic, and we'll put this on landscape 16:9. We'll leave our weirdness at 0 and our variety at 15. And our stylization, we'll do 1 at 200. We'll do 1 at 500. And this is another way you could do it if you don't want to actually type in the parameters. And then again, 1 at 1,000. And you see if we come in, we can see under the stylized 200, we do have hyper-realistic woman with a book in the library for all 4 of these. Same on the stylized 500, although we are starting to get quite a bit more detail on the texture of the woman's skin. And then once we get to 1,000, we really see sort of that takeover of the beauty part of the stylization. And you can see just how realistic the texture is on a lot of these. And look at that detail there. Amazing. And if you decide you like one of these characters, let's say for instance, I like this picture here. And so I'm going to go ahead and upscale that. You can see over on the right-hand side, we've got our upscale button here, and you've got subtle and creative. So for subtle, it's going to make very slight changes while upscaling the image. We'll go ahead and click that. And then we'll do one on creative here so we can see both. That's going to take more creative liberty in how the image actually appears after the upscale. So if we come back, you can see that those are upscaling. While those are upscaling, let me tell you real quick about this task button here. So you can come in and you can curate community images for the front page. And as a bonus, while you're doing that, you can earn fast hours. So you can see here that the best 2,000 rankers each day will receive an extra fast hour. You can also earn fast hours by coming down and completing the surveys down here. But if you want to go ahead and curate images, you'll see that 2 images will appear on your screen, and you simply pick the one that's most visually appealing to you. If you decide you don't like the style of either one of them, you can always go ahead and hit the skip button up here until you find one that you do like and want to vote on again. These do not affect your personalization, which is something we haven't talked about yet. And we're not going to cover this in this video, but it is something that I use very frequently when using MidJourney. And we're definitely going to dive into how you can personalize and create your own mood boards in the future. But this is just to get you started on MidJourney if you haven't already come in and you're a brand new beginner for the most part. So I don't want to overwhelm you with too much at once. That said, if you have any questions about personalization or anything like that before I release the video on all of that information, feel free to leave me questions in the comments. I'm happy to help you as much as I can with some answers in there. But just as an example, let's take a look at our upscale picture here, and then I'll show you some of those personalization things that you can do inside of here without going into too much detail on it. So we've got our original image here that we upscaled subtly, which became this image here. A little bit more detail on her eyes there. You can kind of see more of the actual color of her iris pop through. The book has more detail and is more legible on what it looks like on the front cover. If we go up to the creative upscale, you'll see it took away her mole here. It actually decreased her freckles, which is interesting, really changed the character. Fixed up her teeth a little bit here, made the book more predominant. Her hair is a little bit different of a color. It's a little bit lighter there. So all in all, for upscale, definitely worth it on the images that you like. Another thing you can do, if you have an image that you have created somewhere else or that you saw that you really want to recreate, there's an easy way to do that inside of MidJourney. Before we get into the personalization to wrap up this video, let me show you really quick. I've just grabbed an image from another generator that I've done in the past, and I'm going to drop it in here right to where it says drop to describe. Now you'll see the image that you dropped in over here on the right side. And then you're going to see 4 different prompts that have been created based on how the system sees this image here. So you can see these are very different prompts from one another. And what I can do is I can either choose to run 1 or 2 or 3 of these prompts, or I can run all of them together. So if I run all the prompts here together, you'll see that started 1, 2, 3, 4 sets here because we had 4 prompts. And you can see the interpretation of those prompts put into images here. Now, if I wanted it to be even closer to what my original image is, I could go ahead and reuse this text here. And I could actually take that same image and drop it back in, and you'll see that I have 3 options up at the top. I can use it as a character weight, I can use it as a style reference, or I can use it as an image guidance. So just for an example here, let's go ahead and use it as an image guidance. And there you go. We have 4 variations of that image and very different creations here. Remember, our chaos is set on 15. Now, as far as the personalization, you can come into personalization and you can actually teach MidJourney about how you like different images over other ones. So you can come in and you can create a standard profile, or you can create a mood board. See, I have a couple different profiles created on here. So let's say, for example, I want to check out some images I've made with this vibrant color drip one specifically right here. I can choose that, and then I can see every image that was created using that mood board. So you can see here that they're all very similar, because they were all created using my vibrant color mood board. So you can see where that plays into creating really advanced, consistent art inside of MidJourney. Like I said, I'm not going to get deep into that right now because I know that that can be really overwhelming. And we're going to cover all of the personalization and getting to the next level with your AI art in our next video. But I hope that you guys learned something from this AI art tutorial for creators today. I hope that as a beginner, you felt that it was easy enough to understand how you could get in here and start playing around today with these amazing generative AI art tools inside of MidJourney. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a great idea for an upcoming video, or you have something specific you would like for us to teach in this MidJourney series, go ahead and leave that in the comments.